RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich.
Welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to I guess if you're on the East Coast, late night edition of The Rational Investor. It's 1 a.m. there. I woke up a bit late today. I needed to get some sleep. So I ended up sleeping like nine hours, which is very good because apparently I had like 2 hours of sleep that I need to catch up on. So that's why we're late. Also, no camera, crazy bed hair. I don't know if you guys even care about the camera. I figure focus on the charts. Don't worry about what my face looks like. But the goal is to predict markets correctly. And that's it. And do it as quickly as possible because I value your time. Hi, Gills. Hi, JP. Wonder what these little things are. You guys have like top fan, 25 XP. Interesting. I wonder if that's for the stream or how does that work? That seems new. Okay, cool. So look, the big thing is that we have non-farm at 7:30 tonight for my time. I think that's 8:30 on the East Coast. So that's the big thing the market's going to be waiting for and could cause some volatility. So just keep that in mind. Okay, that's the number one thing to keep in mind. Other than that, I mean, if we look at Max Payne going into tomorrow, whenever I see something like this, the market's going to rally, which is exactly what happened the past couple days. And if you've been following me on my Discord, you know that I have been the most bullish of bull. And I'm starting to question it. And I'll go over why in this show. But I've been correct so far for the most part. I would say 90%, 10% wrong, probably 10% wrong. But this, I mean, I made, I don't know about you guys, but I made a lot in the stock market. Like mostly I talk about crypto because that's what everybody seems to care about. But I made a lot more in the stock market than I did in crypto in the past month. Like a lot. I actually have, I think I have more money in stocks than I have in crypto at this point. So just something I thought I would share. Regarding crypto, we looked at the fear and greed. Last time we talked about it last week, we were in like the fear, starting to be in the fear area. And that's when I really wanted to buy. And I went in heavily, as you saw on my Discord. Now we're in the no man's zone. I'm not feeling as like, okay, buy every dip mode. And we're gonna talk about why. Let's go here and let's get into what's going on. Let's start with S&P. So the only reason crypto is where it's at is, in my opinion, because the S&P was saved. This is what made me a lot of money. I bought a lot here. This is typically a reversal signal for me. You can see how it happened here. It happened basically down here, around here. It's happened many times. You can see on the downside too, it also reverses at these points. So that's a major area for me that I like to consider. And I did push out this buy to our Discord and talked about this a bit in the Discord. So this was a big move. And I did very well longing that move, like insanely well. And now it seems like we've made all-time highs. So then I guess the question is, by the way, you also had did you have a TD8? You didn't have that. But this saved the bull. Okay, if this would have broken down, we would be having a very different conversation right now with regards to traditional finances and to crypto. So because of this, I can talk about more bullish things over here, but also some of my concerns. But it's going to be leaning in the bullish direction. And all right, let me get rid of that. You can see this is my final target up here, right? These targets, these red lines have existed for months now. They've existed since basically back here, since May. I have not changed anything. This has been my target. Once we hit this, I'm going to become a lot less bullish, okay? There's not much upside left here. 2%. That's it. That's all you got, 2%. Really not much. So that's what I'm looking for. We're kind of in a, if you look at this daily chart, it's almost like a range. Weekly still very bullish here. So that's a big part of driving my bullish enthusiasm. 8 hour, kind of all over the place. Need to break out of this. It really depends on what happens today with unemployment, or I guess tomorrow. We could dump and then move up again, or we could just shoot higher. I would recommend caution into tomorrow. I know that's not what you guys want to hear, but you just had a massive rally. Like, this was big. So it wouldn't surprise me if they use that as an excuse to kind of do something like that. Like, we head right down to this weekly and monthly support area, take everyone out, maybe even go a bit lower, and then we rally. Something like that wouldn't surprise me. No, I didn't get to crypto yet. We're starting with the biggest thing, the thing that moves crypto that people forget to pay attention to. So this is my concern going into the release of payrolls situation tonight, or I guess this morning for everyone who's seeing this tomorrow. That be very careful. If you're in leverage trades, I'd consider, maybe closing them, or at least cutting down the size massively. Give yourself some capital in case we pull back to here, so you can get into the long side. Typically, when you get major rallies like this, it's so they can do a rug pull and then bounce it later, just to generate liquidity. So again, I don't know how many times I can say this in one show, but we do have resistance here, right? It's just like that. That's your resistance point. And we can see on a 1 hour, actually, there's basically no divergence. It's very bullish. Very, very, very bullish. You did add a 9. 9 came in on the 4 hour. So I would be cautious. Okay, that's my main emphasis here is be cautious at 8:30 Eastern time tonight on the release of payroll. That's gonna drive things, and don't forget that the first direction is usually we're gonna go in the opposite. The problem is you don't know how far down or how far up that first direction is going to go before it reverses, and it can even do a double reversal. I've seen something like this where it do, and then finally the real move. So you can either get this, or you can get just one direction in reversal. Very rarely do you get the one direction move and that's it. It's usually at least 2, sometimes 3 moves before the final direction is chosen. Okay, so that's the S&P. NQ, basically the same thing. All of it keeping crypto afloat here. And we will talk about this. I just want to touch base on things like Tesla. So Tesla's been just stuck in this no man's zone range for a while. And that happens when RSI is flatlined here. Also, when there's too much retail interest in a stock, the market makers will stop moving it. They'll just let it sit there until everyone's bored and not trading it or buying options anymore, and then they'll move it. We're getting close to that point. If this uptrend channel wants to stay intact, we need to move before the end of September, preferably mid-September. And most likely that move will be to the upside. That's what it looks like to me. It's kind of maintaining this slight upside momentum. So I am bullish on Tesla, and this is my entire uptrend move. So we're sitting at that 1.618. We're going to probably hit this midpoint level, get rejected, play in this area for a while, come up to this 420 area, get rejected again, do something like that, and then we'll probably do this, and then we'll get rejected up here, and we'll do that into 2026 if it can stay bullish. It could happen faster, but that's like my general viewpoint of what's going to happen. Eventually, it will go up. It's just the timing thing that's hard. So if you buy options, there's a high chance you're going to get screwed over. So just be careful with that. Hello, Archery. Hello, Raphael. Yeah, I can look at Sui. We're already 10 minutes in. I want to do the rest of the show in like 20 minutes. I'm trying to be faster with these shows. I don't think there's value in doing like an hour and a half show. I just think there's just people lose attention after like 30 minutes. So I want to move faster. Okay, so that's Tesla. I'm not going to go into anything else in the stock market really. I do at some point want to go through some of my holdings. I have some interesting holdings, but not today. Everybody seems to be talking about gold and silver. So I'm gonna take a quick look at those and give you my opinion. Oh, this is why they're talking about it, because it broke out. Haha. Okay. So now I've got a final target of around 4,000. This is not my original silver chart or gold chart. Where's my original? Did I put it on the futures? Where's my original chart? This rally. It's pretty crazy. 2,000. It's almost doubled since 2024, since last year. This is not good. You don't want to see gold doubling like this. This is not a good sign for global money markets. Which one did I use? See, this is, it had to be that one. In a second, maybe I have it in here. I have XAG, here's XAU. This is your 2-year or your long-term kind of gold cycle, right? These two, and we can put it on a log scale. So you had very simple, let's do the most simplistic analysis ever. So 2001, that points to eventually a gold price of about 8,000. It's not bad. It's not a bad store of wealth. If we want to have an ABCD target, that's kind of your area, right? Right there. Put a big red line. ABCD target. We can go down to lower time frames. You can see how in these lower time frames, all these lines show up, all these old lines. It's really not that much on this chart. We're going to go back to the other chart that I have. This one seems to have some semblance of analysis. Okay. I want to redraw this like that. Okay. Basically there, 7,800. Just like that. But you can see my initial 4.669, which lined up with a lot of, see how 1.618 consolidated here, 2.618 consolidated here. We're almost at that 4.669 target. So just keep in mind, we're almost at that target. If you've been long gold, congratulations. Consider taking profits up here. If we look at a weekly chart's still in a nice uptrend. Daily chart blast off, obviously. My target is here. I'm not sure about, I'm going to get rid of this since we already have the red line. No, way up. Where's my red line? Why did it disappear? Right here. Why is it not on the other time frames? Visibility days. Yeah, okay. Okay, so that's kind of the target area where I expect it to hit. Let's look at silver really quick. Yeah, so silver is in this uptrending channel of mine. Let me see if we change it to a log scale. Yeah, so metals I try to do on a log scale. Final upside target in the short term on silver is around $42, $43. The 4.669 level is 48 to hit in February 2026. So all of this is kind of getting pretty overbought. I would be careful with metals up here. I know a lot of people are talking about it, but the time to buy was down here in March when it was like 30 bucks. Not now. Like you've got very little upside left, right? It's like 5%, maximum 17. I would wait for a pullback. And this in fact looks like it could pull back here. So if that's kind of your uptrend and we had the initial breakdown and this is like a retest. So if anything, I would look at, potentially shorting here. You've got a 7, 8, and 9 on the daily. If we go to lower time frames, I mean, this is 4-hour actually broke down. So, you know, I understand this isn't a popular opinion and you are going against the trend, so it's higher risk, lower chance it works, but I would look at shorts all the way back down to like 38. I wouldn't long here. Be careful of anyone talking about bullishness with metals if you're thinking short term. If long term and you're just going to buy some and you want to hold it, okay, fine. But also keep in mind that you've only got about 20% of upside. Eventually, years later, or maybe a couple, 2 years, 3 years from now, it may go up a lot more. But it's primarily a store of wealth against inflation. And the only other thing you would do with it is you would buy it and use leverage, and then you could make bigger returns. But that's going to be tough and you can get liquidated. Just some things to keep in mind, because I know there's a couple of people very excited about gold and silver. Those are my thoughts on that. And yeah, I think we can just jump over to crypto now then. This is what you guys really want, right? Crypto. Okay, so what happened with crypto, right? I talked about that 10-week signal for a while. I said that by the end of August, we should be having peak euphoria, going crazy. Well, what happened? We broke down for my uptrending channel. That's what happened. This is the break. When we broke down here and retested and started to head lower, this changed everything. This delayed the whole plan because it broke down. So this is why when people ask me like, where's the market going? What time frame? Blah, blah, blah. Tell me how to make money. I say, well, I don't know exactly. It can change. Do you ask a weatherman to predict the weather a month in advance? No, they can try. They can use the Farmer's Almanac and all that kind of stuff to look at general patterns that happen every year, but it's far from a guarantee. Well, Raphael, as I said, I made a lot more in stocks the past month than I have in crypto. But that's just me personally. I think there's value in trading both, and you trade what's moving, right? And that's what's going to make you the most money. If crypto is not really doing that much, then it's not going to make you too much money. Okay, so anyway, things can change. I try my best to make predictions, but if things break down, you have to like reanalyze everything. So original plan was maximum, we'd get like a wick down here and then a bounce and stay within this channel, kind of like what the S&P did right here. That's what I wanted to see with crypto. It didn't do that. It decided, no, too many people are bullish. Let's screw them over. So we rolled over. I created this new parallel channel. And then right down here, okay, look at this. This is all just in the past week. And I'm not going to take too long going over this. I know you guys don't care about what happened in the past, but it's important to understand the reactions of people and what was going on at the time to then look at, okay, to then understand what can happen in the future. So right here, we had a 7, 8, and 9. However, even in our own TradingView chat room, most of the people were bearish. Everyone was bearish. I was seeing targets. People were doing this. Let's do a replay. Let's go back. Okay, so let's go to here. Okay, this is what it looked like then. And we'll go to like a 4-hour chart. This is what I was seeing. People were looking at this and they're going, yeah, A, B, C, D to here. And they're saying 103. Some people were looking at an even higher time frame view and saying we're going to go to below 100K. They're thinking we're going to take out these levels. While you had a daily TD9 printing. Like never, if you have a TD9 on a daily, TD8, TD9 on a daily, never think super bearish. It's going to bounce most of the time. Just understand that. Even I posted in my own signal room, there was a small chance that this would happen, but I didn't think so because, and I talked about this on the show last week, the fear indicator was quite high. This was in the fear area, and the exact area we were at was the same as where we were last time the market bounced. So if I go to like a three-month view, so here you go. We got down to 39, and it was the same here where we went to almost 42, and then we bounced. It was the same kind of thing. It was this area here is kind of like a support and resistance zone. And that was part of the reason behind my bullish thesis. and the eventual bounce that we saw occur. So, okay, so I just wanted to show you this and like remind you to remember in the future when these kind of things happen. Also, this chart is circulating the weekly chart where you do have a slow reversal happening. And I admit, I don't like how this looks either. But this makes sense. We're late in the cycle. We're looking for only one more pop. That's it. That's all we're looking for here. I'm going to go back. Let's go back to present day. So this has not broken down necessarily, but it is showing we're late in the cycle. But Bitcoin can go all the way up here. And this can go just like that. And then you get your rollover. But we could still go up there. All right, let's go to a daily chart. Okay, so that's kind of what happened down here. I longed this bottom heavily. It's paid very well. I've been posting that I'm like 100% long everything. And you can see here, we go to like a 12-hour on RSI. Right, actually it was, see how they do a fake out? Sometimes you do get fake outs. This was the fake out and then the rollover. And then you adjust to account for that. And then you had massive divergence coming in, and then you had your TD 7, 8, and 9. It was all very clear signal, plus liquidation zones here. They just had to go right below over here, these levels. Just tag right below it, take out liquidation, and then bounce. And that's exactly what happened. And now we're bouncing. We're very bullish on MACD, RSI, on various time frames, 4 hour as well. Look at this. So here we'd move the line over here. And you can see here, right here is what I call a bullish retest. This is a bullish retest. I actually closed my longs right around here, and I've relonged from down here. So I'm long on Bitcoin from 109,600. That's my leverage. In spot, I didn't sell anything. I'm just holding. But in leverage, I was up a lot up here, so I did take some profits. And now I'm long again from 109,652. And we can see looking nice and bullish. This again was a bullish retest. So where could we go from here? We can do let's get rid of a few things, by the way. So again, can you see how when we break down from these parallel channels, we often come to retest them? Like this was your retest. This was a perfect long area. And I did add to my position right here on this retest. I had my open at the top of the parallel channel. And then just wrote it up here, and then we got rejected. And why did we get rejected? Well, if we look at this, let me get rid of a couple of things. Okay. We're still kind of in a range, and when you're in a range, fibs work very well. And often you will get rejection in the 786, 886 area. So what happened? We came into this area, we got rejected, we came down, and we retested on the RSI. We already retested the parallel channel, so it was unlikely we'd head lower to tag the parallel channel again. So what level did we come into? We came to the 61.8. So if you're ranging, okay, it's a bullish range direction, you will hit that 786, 886. But if you're pulling back during a bull uptrend, oftentimes you won't hit that 78886. You'll just come to the 61.8. 50%, 61.8. That's all you get, and then it'll bounce. And that's what we saw here. Okay, now where do we go from here? Oh, you've got AB, CD. So this points to the 30-day VWAP, okay, and 200 SMA on the 4-hour time frame. Significant resistance level. This could be a potential target at 1450. My hope is we can reach that before the news that I talked about. That's the big concern. My big concern is news at 8:30 Eastern time. What is going to happen with that? We could rally up to even 12,750. They'll take out these highs. I don't see why they wouldn't take that out. And then we could get a dump and then a move up. Something like that. But the question is, how far do we dump? Do they take it all the way down here? Like a big wick? Scare everyone? There is potential for that to happen, okay? technical analysis works the best in the absence of news. The problem is we're getting news. That's the big issue. But the point I want to emphasize is we're not, if you do get a pullback, you're not going to 103, you're not going to 100K. You're going to go down to here at the most, like 106K, okay? It's not going lower than that. I'm going to extend this. I highly doubt this will be tagged, but I want to extend it so it's at least there. And then you can see, 106, 250 or so. So I have positions open right now. I'm going to keep them open until either we hit this target or we get close to the news. If we're close to the news, I plan to sell half of my position. I'm going to take off half. I don't want to take the risk. I'd hate giving back profits in leverage positions. So I'll take some off spot. It doesn't matter because eventually we are going higher. Same with the market, stock market. It's going to head to that target. It's made that very clear. This was the big save. Today's news is just going to be to grab liquidity. This was the big thing on Tuesday and Wednesday. All right, so let's look at BTCD really quick. Do we buy alts? Do we buy alts? So we've got a recovery in BTCD happening here. Let me go to a regular chart. So if you see on a log, we're actually within it. But the real one I like to use for this is the regular chart. Well, we may get a bounce and bullishness with BTC up to 60%. And then it'll start to roll over again and you'll get your alt season. So just understand short-term bullishness with Bitcoin over alts is likely here. Although we do have nice to see a 7. This could reverse here actually. But if not, you'll head up to this around 60% area and then roll over. It doesn't hurt to be long both of them. That's my analysis on Bitcoin. Higher time frame I've gone over in previous shows, like ad nauseum. I don't know why this doesn't show my. This is not my. Where's my higher? Where's my higher time frame chart? Hold on, guys. Is it Coinbase? Huh. I had a bit of a higher time frame analysis on Bitcoin that was pointing to this 130, 140K area. I can't find it right now, but that's like the eventual target. We're not going to hit it next week, so I guess it's not a big deal. The main thing is surviving what's coming tonight. And then once that happens, we should just simply move higher. This is quite bullish. Nice rejection. Downtrend's kind of over. You've got divergence here. You can see on a daily chart like that, right? Looks good. Everything looks good. I would not short this at all. There's my thought process. So everything else should go up together. You can see on Ethereum, 4 hour also we broke out, came down, retested. Now we're reversing to move up. We're being supported by this 200 SMA on the 4 hour chart. You can go to a higher time frame daily. So MACD is still bearish. That I don't like seeing that, but it will eventually reverse. And you can see on this 12 hour how it shows also what happened with the 4 hour. We broke out, we retested, and now we should move higher. There's a chance, again, with the news, they may use this to take out the lows, something like that, and then you get your bounce. So if you're looking to get long, wait until the news today, and you either are gonna get in a really nice fill, or you're gonna miss it, or it's gonna just do that, and you've got to chase. Those are the kind of the two scenarios that I'm seeing, and that's gonna play out for everything, right? All the altcoins, it's gonna be exactly pretty much like this. One of my big ones, ENA. See how everything's been perfectly following our analysis here. This is drawn quite a while ago. We're putting in a bit of a bottom, getting ready for that next push up to my final $1.34 target. That's what I could see happening here. It needed to reset. You've had about almost a full month of doing nothing. And that's often what happens. Let's see. Somebody asked about SUI. Yeah, same thing, right? This chart looks very similar to Ethereum. We're just right on the cusp of breaking out here. Okay, and it's great that a lot of people are still bearish. That's what you want. I want to see people posting, I'm afraid it's going down, the cycle's not happening, it's over. That's what we want to see. Just ignore it, because it's not true. What is true is that short term, you can get something like this, right? And then you do that. Well, again, we could go down to like $3 before we finally bounce. It's all about the news today. We can go and look at the total. Yeah, you can see the total's already basically reversed on RSI. 12-hour, very clear reversal basing pattern here. This could be considered your like consolidation. You can see the steady move up. This actually didn't, I think this didn't break down from the parallel channel. Like if we draw parallel channel here, right? It never really broke down, unlike Bitcoin. Kind of just stayed in this uptrend. So that's your parallel channel there with total market, and you can see on this weekly even. Slight breakdown on the weekly. Still in the green, still above the midpoint. That's still bullish for me. Like that. I mean, that's kind of it, guys. That's all I've got. A lot of this information pertains to what's going to happen in about seven hours. So I'll be posting the summary of the show to the Discord. That way people can just get to the analysis quickly without having to watch the video. I think people's time is valuable, and you can't spend too much time watching videos every day. I just want to get the information out to you. Look at Bitcoin, by the way. Look at that. Nice, really nice rally. So remember these targets up here. Big points. These targets up here. What's coming out at 8:30 Eastern time today? That's going to determine everything. If the news is really bad, by the way, everything here goes out the window. But for the most part, I think this is set in stone. The only thing we're unsure about is, do we just keep pumping, or do they liquidate and then pump? And that's really the main question. I guess before we sign off, we can kind of look at liquidation levels, right? CoinGlass. Liquidation heat map. I don't really believe in these, but it doesn't hurt to look at them. Okay, so liquidation at 112. Yeah, this area. I kind of like to use symbol only. Yeah, so you can see there's some down here. Right there, 112, 800. Yeah, there's a case to be made that they could come down here. And then you've got stuff up here too. So the worst case would be they come up here, liquidate all the shorts, and then they go down and liquidate everyone here, and then you get your rally. That would be interesting. Hyperliquid liquidations right below 106. I always like to look at this one too. You can see here, again, a nice amount up to like 113, and then amount down to 108. This really isn't that helpful. It just kind of gives you the zones, which we already know. 106, exactly like I talked about, and then 114 here. So 5 billion on that side, 5 billion on this side. It could go either way, and that's why I think the best situation for market makers is they rally it up to like 114 before the news today, and then they dump it to like 106, and then you get your rally. That would give the most liquidity. Yeah, here they can liquidate on hyperliquid even down to there and come up to here. Get a good amount. They'll definitely get more on the downside. Ethereum we can look at really quick. Wow, that's a lot. It's a huge, it's way too big of a range. Okay, so here's more, 4,200 and 4,500 is kind of here. 4 billion, 3 billion. It's quite a lot on the downside that they could take out. Yeah, okay. So that's the scenario. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, hopefully not too much ambiguity there. Everybody understands. I will post a summary right after this to the Discord since I've got my AI recording. It's kind of partially why I'm not using the camera. The camera and the AI recording kind of between the two of them, use too much power and the computer gets overheated a bit. Even now the fans are running like crazy because of the AI software. Okay, good luck guys and be careful tonight and I will see you on the Discord. All right, bye everybody.